Hello and welcome back to the World of AI podcast. With me is André Stamm. André, good evening today.
Yeah, today it's good evening. Hello, Mona. How are you?
I'm great because we have a fantastic topic for you today. I'm not going to tease you too much, but we are going to talk today about Apple. Apple
Yeah.
made a big announcement, and some of the predictions we have said previously are getting into reality. Ooh, which ones will this be? So, what did Apple do? So, 2 weeks ago, they had a big conference, and what did they announce on this conference?
They announced Jarvis, as we always see in the Marvel universe, the AI guy who is supporting us and in all the daily work and life. And Apple is really implementing this into the operating system, very deep
Ooh.
into the iPhone. Yes.
Awesome. So, what does this, first of all, before we go into the technical details, what does this mean in general? So, what exactly are they doing? So, they call it Apple Intelligence, Apple AI. I think you can use both of them. So, what is the high level of what they are doing or what they are planning to do?
The high level is that Apple is constantly looking on all the information I have on my phone and make the right suggestion at the right time. So I'm in a meeting, I have no time for everything, but there comes a call from my daughter, and then the AI will say that, hey, maybe that's important because you are not allowed to disturb, but that's your daughter and you have an appointment in half an hour. Maybe that is important, and the phone will direct inform me, even that I had set it to no disturb, please.
Okay.
That's
So,
one of the
how does this
example.
play together? So, I mean, Apple has Siri. I mean, we all know Siri for quite some time, right? She got a companion of us. She doesn't always give the right answers.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's a
she's a
little
bit
bit
sloppy.
outdated, really.
Yeah.
It's
So,
outdated.
yeah. So basically, will this be like a further development of Siri, or what exactly are like how is this going to play in? So
No,
Will Siri be more intelligent, or will it be something else than Siri and they add it to the Siri?
it's Apple. Maybe it will be an add-on to Siri, but it will replace Siri in a lot of features because Siri is currently only able to answer one question at all and make no conclusion to the answer before and after that. And with the big language models we have with ChatGPT, that's now possible to make a referral to the answer before.
True. So you have actually a real conversation,
Yeah,
not just
it
a
will be.
series of questions like Siri used to do, right? It's a little word game actually. Siri and a series of questions. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. So basically, before we go into the full details of what exactly they are doing, now a very interesting development was the same day that Apple announced. I mean, everybody was eagerly awaiting for that announcement. We also, right? We were like, you told me like the day
Yeah.
before, like, hey, tomorrow is this announcement, check it out, And I was like, okay, let's see. And then as soon as the announcement was out, something happened. Elon Musk said, not in my companies. If you do what you plan to do, those no iPhone will be in any of my companies anymore. If you visit the plants, you have to leave it in the entry. It will be under a Faraday cage, like nothing will go in there. Like what's going on here? What is the problem that Elon has?
Elon sees that Apple devices are now a small device who can spy on everything in the company because the devices are able to constantly listen to everything. If you make a picture, the device can analyze the picture, and with all the information in the back end, um, the information are going to the server farm, and the server farm can learn about that. And with a lot of context points in the company, the KI, the AI, sorry, that was the German word, the AI is able to learn what the company does and maybe knows the company better at the end of the day as the company itself.
Huh. So that means if I come as a visitor to SpaceX and I just walk through and make some pictures, that could basically mean that I'm a spy. That could be
Yeah,
classified as a spy. Wow.
yeah.
So
Now
I
we
rather
are in the
voluntarily
middle
have
of
a
the
phone in that case.
Sorry. Now
Like,
we are in the middle of the game. Yes.
wow, okay. And why? I mean, obviously, Elon Musk also was heavily involved in AI and developing AI, right? I mean, he is a genius, you have to say that. I mean, you know what I mean? You may not like him as a person, but he knows what he's doing, right? So you have to assume if somebody like Elon is making a statement like that, he may know a little bit more than we do.
Yeah,
Now, maybe, and a little bit extra piece is one of the integrations, and then this was a big partnership that that Apple announced, is that they are going to collaborate with OpenAI. Now we do know that Elon was a founding member of OpenAI and did not leave on good terms. So what was the context there, and how is this related with the entire Apple situation?
Apple was really aware about the privacy part. So they, with the announcement, they spent a huge amount of time to clarify what they are doing with the data and that they secured the data. So they also make it very difficult to get to the data, and they will also open up all the algorithm so that external parties can challenge Apple to get the data, that everything is secured. So Apple make really a big effort to have everything secured. But within the bubble of the information where the data is accessible, there is the ChatGPT OpenAI kernel. And with that, the company OpenAI must have access to all the private data you have on your phone. All your pictures, all your dates, all your names, contacts, private notes, the tax invoice, the invoices, everything. And that is a big issue also for Elon. And we should think about that. As you mentioned, Elon knows what the OpenAI does because he's really deep involved in the company.
And I mean, Elon said, I think, I'm not sure if it was a quote, but he said something like, Apple, you have no freaking idea what OpenAI will do with your data, and you have no handling over that process. So as soon as basically OpenAI gets in the game, and they hand over the data because they have to in order to create the answers. Basically, what Elon says is, you freaking don't know what they do with that data, so how dare you to hand data over if you have no control over it? That was like one of the statements he, in that somehow way, not quote, but that's in summary what he said. And I mean, now again, considering that Elon founded OpenAI and left the company, especially when they took a turn towards the commercialization. I mean, Elon was the first one to say when OpenAI was getting really big, he was the one warning all of us back in 2022, and he was like, guys, be careful, there are no rules in place yet. Normally you have to create the rules first, and then you have to run the intelligence, because the intelligence without the rules, you cannot stop it anymore at some point. And I think we are approaching that point slowly, it looks like, is it?
Yeah, we are approaching that, and that is one of the biggest part. Elon said that "do not evil" comes from Google, original, but with the AI, we have to go into the art of AI. So if the AI is only a supporting system, which make suggestions, something like that, which cannot be grow to an intelligent system with an own consciousness. So we have to deep dive into that in a further episode as well. And Elon saw that OpenAI did not set up the rules so that the AI can evolving to an consciousness, to some kind of consciousness, and that is really difficult. So that's going into this as well. One more part which we also got, that is the EU also has the Digital Market Act, and Apple announced after that they will not open up the features to all users in the EU. That's
That's a
strange,
very
Mona.
interesting point as well, right? So on the one hand, you have the announcement, everybody's like excitingly waiting for that, right? Then you have Elon bashing them right away, like, what are you doing? Like, no, not in my companies, okay? So now you have this, but still everybody's excited, hey, Apple's getting more intelligent, awesome. You know, now you did mention before, it's going to be integrated on operational level, now operation system level. Now most people don't know what that is, right? So how are systems run, because that is relevant for
Yeah.
the data privacy piece, right? So what is the difference between how OpenAI is right now, like when you use ChatGPT, versus what they are planning to do with Apple? What's the big difference in terms of like how they are actually embedded on the system level, right?
Yeah, the big difference is that if you are challenging or asking ChatGPT, you're sending a request to the server farm. And the server farm is doing all the magic and is doing all the energy work that's consuming energy, a lot of energy. So your device only sends a text and get the text back. You have very low consumption of energy on your device. What is Apple right now doing? They enable the device, the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac, that the iPhone can handle simple requests by its own. So privacy, it's not going out to the world. You can also use the AI if you are offline in a plane or something like that, but only to a certain amount or to a certain complexity. After that, the device will decide to send the request to the server farm because it's too complex to calculate on the device. It will also consume the energy of the device. So you have maybe your iPhone only 1 hour, something like that.
The battery runtime.
Yes, the battery runtime.
Yeah, exactly. But that basically means, right, when we look at private privacy, because this is where we are going right now, right? It basically means even without the OpenAI component, I mean, Apple has the data anyway already nowadays. We have to be realistic, right? So if
Yeah.
you have your iPhone today, they anyway have all the data. But now with the OpenAI integration, what is going to happen is you take your iPhone, and then if it cannot solve it itself, it sends the data to the server farm of OpenAI, but you don't know what exactly they sent there. Because you don't see, because it's running in the background, right? So you may see the official question, but you don't know what other data they're going to transfer, because it theoretically has access to everything on your phone. And now this is where I think the data privacy topic kicks in. So now we all know Europe has, a European agency for IT and, like protecting the European market. And so I think a few times, not so long ago, they basically announced this Digital Market Act. Did I pronounce this correct? Yeah, Digital Market Act. Yeah, I wasn't sure about a D. A Digital Market Act. And so this law is a set of laws, right? So there are many different rules inside. And one of the rules basically is about so-called gatekeepers. So they classify specific companies, including Meta, Google, Apple, as so-called gatekeepers. And a gatekeeper has certain responsibilities. So basically what they're trying to do, and now in full transparency, legislation does not always do what it's supposed to do, right? So normally legislation should make our life easier because we have rules. Sometimes they make it very complicated and they give us disadvantages that are not so cool. Especially with technology, they usually lag behind, and then you have to adjust things because you realize, oh, that's not what we wanted. And I think this is happening right now. So on the one hand, they want to protect the competition, right? So they want to open up the market to other players so that not the few players we have control the entire market. But the law basically now forces the big players to open up information that they have to competitors. And now this is where this thing kicks in. So what does this mean for Apple? If they would use the AI piece in Europe, what would that act mean for them?
They need to open up the information not only to OpenAI. That's only one other very big player where we can build up trust that they can know what they are doing, but they need to open up it also to small players on the market. That is the idea behind of that. And the small players, they are maybe not able to protect the data in the certain way because for protecting the data is very expensive. You have to set up a lot of firewalls behind that, not only technically, also with the algorithm and with the structure or the design of the service.
Okay, so that basically means that OpenAI would have to, also not OpenAI, but Apple in this case, would have to open up their back end pretty much to other competitors to comply with that law.
Yeah.
Now, that law is a law, again, like as always, it's not always like the best thing, like sometimes people who may not necessarily have an idea of what it really means shouldn't make decisions, but it happens, right? That's legislation. Now we have that. In German we say now we have the salad, right? Now it's done. So, like it happened. So
now we have to laugh it.
What did Apple decide now because of that? Because obviously they would be liable for such things. Now, what did they decide as a consequence?
They will not set up the feature in the German or in the European market. So we have no Apple AI in Europe right now. They say stop, that's it, and we are not open up this part because we need we cannot secure our data from our customers, or the data from our customers, and that is one of the big part, privacy. And Apple said we are one of the company where privacy is very high, and also the iPhone is secured that not every company can go into the information of the iPhone.
Yeah. So there we have the salad. So it was a nice try. Unfortunately, it backfired right away. I mean, by the way, also Apple is under investigation with the European Commission because of that law for some other topics, right? So maybe that's also tangled up. That's pure speculation warning. Maybe that entire situation with the, they're currently under investigation. There's no fine or anything yet. But as you may have heard already, if the European Union doesn't like certain things, they can, especially when it goes to data protection, the fines are very high. So companies are very careful, and pretty much all of the big players had to pay already pretty big fees on those things. So they got careful. And so now the consequence of and it may be even directly related because they're under investigation. They're like, nope, not for Europe. Sorry. So what does this mean now for us as interpreters? Okay. So now we don't get it. That's a fact. Okay. They don't have a timeline yet if and when they will bring it out. So what does it mean for us now? We're not getting it. So we're left behind.
That would be one solution, but that is a really worse solution. I will not do that. You can use other tools which are from the smaller players who are not liable under the new act, so they can work with that, and they can maybe make the integration on the desktop computer as well. To do the integration on the Apple iPhone or in the closed infrastructure of Apple is really difficult. But on the Mac client, you will get these solutions. So we have to go the extra mile and go to other solutions, and we will find the solution. It's possible. And even if I would like to have it on my iPhone because I need to be aware of the new technologies, we are also traveling to the US or to other countries. So we have customers there. They expect that we know the technology. I can, or I will have an iPhone from the US with the US number, so that's all under the US law, and then it's everything fine. I can use the technology, but not with my European data. That's it.
And that is called find a way. So
find a way, yes.
If we are entrepreneurs, right? I mean, we have to deal with the boundaries that are in place. That's just the way it is. But that never means you have to accept them. Like you obey them. It's the rules, right? So don't breach the rules. That's not good. But there are ways to go around it in most cases because nobody can forbid you to have an American iPhone. Very simple.
Very simple.
So just find the way. So be creative, think around the corner, and then just find the way. But don't just accept, but be aware of what the situation is, right? And be also aware of why they are doing it. I mean, they may have a valid reason, right? It may be a part of protection, but again, if you don't want to fall behind and you are in this space, find a way to work around it. And there's always going to be a way.
Yeah. And that's not so difficult. It's more convenient if I get everything from Apple. That's fine. It's very easy. But it's really not difficult to get the way around and to work already today with the tools. And we would encourage everybody to do it today, not tomorrow.
Absolutely. So with that, I think we have exciting times coming up. Let's see where this is going to develop. We will keep you updated on the changes and the decisions. If we find a deadline, we will obviously, or a timeline on when it's going to introduce, we're going to share it here. But for now, that's the status quo. So I hope that you found that valuable, you found that informative and helpful, and hopefully you're going to take action on that. And yeah, let's see how you are going to start using your own personal Jarvis, right? Because that's where the world is going to. Thank you so much, André. It was
Thank you,
really, really
Mona.
great insights.
Have a great evening, and all other have a great day, good morning, however, each time you are seeing or hearing or hear this podcast.
And also don't forget to like, share, comment, review. You know the stuff, right? Show some love. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you all. Bye.